Hello everyone and welcome to our Alumni Talks webinar that will give you first-hand information on ESADE Business School EMBA experience. My name is Martina and I'm the moderator of this webinar on behalf of Alumni. Please welcome our panelists today, ESADE's Associate Director of Admissions, Judith Puchbo, ESADE's Career Advisor, Marta, and one of their successful EMBA alumni, Isabel Rodriguez, who graduated in 2019. They will be telling us about the educational journey and how acquiring a degree from ESADE Business School can enhance your career. You will be able to send your questions throughout the entire webinar by typing them in the chat box, and our panelists will take time to give you an answer during the Q&A session in the second half of this event. Everything is set, so I'm giving the floor to you guys.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So yeah, my name is Judith Puchbo. Martina, you pronounce it perfectly. I know it was not easy, but perfect. And yes, I'm in the admissions department for the Executive MBA. We are a big team of 15 people traveling, well, before COVID, traveling all over the world. Now it's more like this kind of online session, but always happy to assist you. Let me share a little bit the agenda of today. I will briefly explain a little bit more about ESADE as the institution. Then we will go more deeply into the Executive MBA program, that is a program of your interest today. This will be together with Isabel Nájera. As Martina explained, she graduated from our Executive MBA, the monthly format, in 2019. And I know that one of your main concerns is, okay, after the Executive MBA, what else? So that's why today we have Marta Percos. She's one of our career advisors. So she will share a little bit of statistics, and I'm sure that you might have some specific questions for her that we will have at the end of the presentation. We will have this Q&A session. I always say the same. If you have Q&A, I would suggest you to use this time for reaching out to Marta and Isa, because maybe it's not so easy to have a one-to-one session with them. In my case, I'm more than happy after the session, anytime next week, to have a more one-by-one Zoom session to solve all your questions. So these are the three speakers that I just mentioned. Here you have our emails. If you want, you can take a picture. So after in the Q&A, you can send us your questions. But if there's some questions that you'd very like to share more by email or one by one, these our emails are here in this slide. And maybe Isa, you want to briefly explain about where are you, what was you doing before the Executive MBA and now, so people a little bit can understand who you are, because usually we would have a panel at the end, but today we are doing sort of this presentation in a duo. So briefly, in 1 minute, Isa, explain us a little bit what is your job position, where are you living, where are you from, etc.
Right. So my name is Isabel. I am originally from Guatemala. I came to Europe about 15 years ago, lived 9 years in Spain, then moved to London for 5 years. And currently I'm living in Zurich. When I started the Executive MBA, I work in the sports industry, been working in the sports industry, sports media industry for the past 7 years, and that is the industry where I was working when I came with the idea of joining ESADE for an Executive MBA. I was working at a company that develops virtual advertising technology for Tier 1 sports, and my role there was in commercial operations. I did the Executive MBA from 2017 to 2019. And by the time I finished the MBA, I was headhunted basically from the competitor in Switzerland. And that's how I ended up here about 20 months ago, actually before the pandemic started, right at the beginning of the pandemic. And now I'm in Zurich. I hold at the moment a position of commercial director for EMEA and APAC and I look after, well, the development, the commercial development, the strategy, specifically in the markets of football and rugby, but I also look after other sports, and that is what I'm doing right now. So very
amazing,
grateful with the Executive MBA, actually.
Great, thank you. So, ESADE institution, some key factors. We were founded in 1958. We were the first business school in Spain. Our main campus is at that moment was in Barcelona. Now our main campus probably would be in Sant Cugat, main in the sense that we have more number of students and the campus has more square meters. But the Executive MBA specifically is in Barcelona, which honestly for me it's more convenient. Don't tell my colleagues of other masters. And we also have campus in Madrid. So in fact, the Executive MBA, we alternate Barcelona and Madrid campus. We have more than 70,000 alumni in 115 countries. So it's a big network. Now, currently on campus, we have 10,600 students in all different units. We have the business school, where the Executive MBA would be, but we also have law school, both for bachelor's and master's, and we also have executive education, which would be more like shorter programs for senior profiles. And on top of that, we have nowadays on campus more than 90 nationalities represented. Some, of course, we are in education, so rankings, we have to play this game, right? So some of the rankings we feel more proud of probably would be the best MBA for a woman in Financial Times. Also, we are in the top international course experience, salary increase. QS, we were #1 diversity specifically for the Executive MBA. That's something we're very proud of. And of course, student satisfaction, because this is what it's about, right? We are one of the few schools that we have the triple accreditation. I know that this for many people is not super relevant, but those that are engineers, usually they really like this slide. So I always like to share as well. Very important. This has been numbers, but what about the DNA of the school? I think something super relevant that really makes the DNA of the school, for me, the main asset is our collaborative spirit and the huge diversity that you would find on campus. Other schools are more sharky, more competitive. We understand real life is a jungle, let's face it, but come on, this is not an obligation. Let's enjoy the journey. Let's learn from each other. Later on in class profile, we will see, but in our Executive MBA, last promotion, we have more than 400 years of working experience in the classroom. Other years, it was even 600. So why are we going to waste all this knowledge? And here, Isa, I mean, I work at ESADE. I also studied at ESADE. So I promise that when I feel so enthusiastic, it's also because I studied at ESADE. But maybe, Isa, your level of credibility will be higher than mine. So this collaborative spirit, I mean, you can put anything you want in a PowerPoint. Share like in a couple of minutes, do you really felt this collaborative spirit and this diversity on campus?
Yeah, definitely. It was a very interesting experience. I think that an Executive MBA, well, it's not only about the content, but also about the people in class, right? Because you will be sharing experience from very different points of view. And I think it was actually very enriching, the type of diversity that we did have in our classroom. First of all, it was people from everywhere around the world. We had people even coming from Colombia and Brazil every month to class. And not only that, but the diversity in backgrounds. We had people coming from the pharmaceutical industry, the people coming from consulting, banking. I was coming from sports, other people coming from technology. It was very varied. And I think that's a difference from other business schools that are more focused, for example, on consulting kind of profiles or banking type of profiles. We did have even PhDs in biology in our class. So all of these different points of view, every time you look at the content, that the way the discussion flows will be completely different. So I think that was actually one of the best things that I found at ESADE. It was the diversity of thought that we did have in class.
In fact, when ranking, they evaluate diversity, they take into account gender and a number of nationalities. But honestly, we believe that diversity, it's also, I mean, sexual orientation, religion, the bachelor you studied, the industry you are working. So I'm happy that you reinforce that message. Of course, hands-on experience. I think this is also something very important because I mean, it's not about theory. We all are grown up, we know how to read. So here it's more about studying real cases, having guest speakers, interacting with our classmates. This is not like rocket science that the answer is only A, B, or C. As far as you can explain your decision when we are debating a case. The idea is that that's why there's a lot of teamwork, because you can share different experience, different points of views from your industry, from your functional area. So this hands-on experience is what makes the class so exciting, because days are very long. It's from 8:30 in the morning to 8 p.m., right? I remember a girl from Norway asking me, oh, is that legal? I was like, yeah, in Spain, yes. So days are very intense, but yeah, the day goes very fast because it's very, very interactive. The alumni. So remember, your relation with the school is not only during the 18, 20, 22 months, depending on the program, whatever. Your relation with the school is also after. It's the whole professional life and here is what also Isa can explain, because she, believe it or not, is still the president of ESADE Alumni in London. Because last year when she moved, we were still doing most of the events online. But Isa, we need to have a new president in London, and then we want you in the board of Zurich. So maybe you can briefly explain an example of some events you were organizing in London chapter and you are organizing now in Zurich chapter.
Yeah, so as Judith says, I'm also involved in the Alumni Association. So currently I am president of the board of the UK chapter. Well, it's actually, I think, the biggest international community that we have in ESADE, with over 1,000, I think, alumni really in our network. It's kind of like a continuance of the experience of ESADE, where you keep, of course, going on with the network. That is one of the most important things that I took from the Executive MBA, was the network. Of course, the knowledge that you acquire and all the content is very relevant, but the friends and the people that you meet there are for life. And then you will always be connected not only to them, but also to their contacts. And in the Alumni Association, that is what we try to do. We try to keep going that spirit of ESADE through either organizing events or helping our network to find connections when they move into a country, give career advice as well sometimes, put people in contact for mentoring, for example, initiatives. And well, of course, we try to keep going different events, whether they are social or keep delivering more content and more knowledge to keep people on the top of what's happening in the different industries, whether that is financially, I mean, finance industry or marketing or things like this. So we do, well, as our network is made of very interesting and influential individuals, we always get the opportunity to put panels together that result very interesting, like, for example, CEOs or founders of startups that are striving in their industries, or people that are in, I don't know, C-level positions at companies like Diageo, or Google, or such big companies as well. In the terms of sports, we do have also that's my industry. We do have also a lot of people working in the industry. A lot of them working for La Liga, Football Club Barcelona, and in general in the whole industry. So we put together these events where we bring together people that can provide information in a panel or deliver a presentation on a specific topic. And of course, there's always that networking component. But as everything, the sum of a group is only as good as the involvement of the individuals. So we always encourage the networks to get involved, to add ideas, to come up with things that they would like to see happening in the alumni association, and to always be ready to get involved and to attend the events, really. And we need to remember that we are the ones making those networks. So the more we bring to the table, the better our network will be.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, we have 72 international chapters. The one, like, for example, in UK and in London and in Zurich, as Isa mentioned, but in other 70 cities, also by functional areas or industry, like the sports, but we also have, like, for example, pharma, real estate, automotive, so other industries are represented. Very important also, ESADE BAN, ESADE Business Angel Network, and something very unique from ESADE BAN is that you don't really need to be a member of ESADE Alumni. So if you have an idea, you're more than welcome. If you have money and you want to invest in an idea, you're also more than welcome, and we will connect you. Last year, we had more than 900 events. Of course, most of them were unfortunately online. We are now going back to a new normal, and we are start offering also some events presential, face-to-face, finally. And something very unique also from ESADE Alumni is that we have 200 consultants working pro bono for 27 NGOs, and that is very aligned with ESADE values. But in any case, this was a sort of introduction of who is ESADE, what is the blue logo meaning behind. But let's go now specifically for the Executive MBA. Some of the rankings we were looking before were more generic for ESADE, but going more deeply into MBA or Executive MBA, I would probably, I would say one of the ones we feel more proud of is this number 1 last year, number 2 this year in terms of diversity of the Executive MBA, but also entrepreneurship mindset. We have been in the top MBAs in Europe for educational experience. And I won't go through all of them. You have all the information also in the website, but in general, I would say that in terms of diversity, international exposure, gender diversity, entrepreneurial spirit, those would be where we would be shining more. And then program structure, we have the Executive MBA, we have the one totally offered in English, that's the one Isa was doing. And it's on a monthly basis. So you will be traveling 3 days once per month. Those 3 days is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So here in this program, everybody will be working at the same time. So you will combine your work with the Executive MBA, traveling these 3 days once per month. That's why our target, it's not Spain. For them, we will have later on, we'll explain the weekly Executive MBA. Here, our target more is people not living in Spain, but willing to travel these 3 days once per month. Before the pandemic, it's true that we would have people from all over the place, including Asia, Middle East, LATAM, of course, as well, because of the culture connection. Last year, because of COVID, maybe it was like more European based, but now we are starting to go back to the new normal, and we are already having like queries from all over the world again. We also have the bilingual, that is English, Spanish, on a weekly basis in Barcelona campus and on a monthly basis in Madrid campus. I forgot to mention that the monthly in English, I think I mentioned, but I'm not sure, just in case, I want to remind you that we alternate Barcelona and Madrid campus. Isa, at that moment, you was in London, traveling these 3 days once per month. I mean, of course, you need the approval from the company because you need to block at least Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, usually we don't work, but you need to have the approval, at least in terms of time with the company. Was that an issue for you at all, having this conversation with the company?
No, actually, at the very beginning, when I told them that I had the intention of doing an Executive MBA, I got an agreement, like basically a letter, and they signed, because one of the most important things is to actually go to class, right? So I really got the commitment from the very beginning that I was going to be allowed to go to every single day that I would need to attend the MBA. And so they committed to that at the very beginning, so there was no issue whatsoever at all.
I would guess that now that we are all working remotely, in fact, I need to mention that I'm at home. I hope that my kids behave, but just in case, I want to let you know. But I assume that even nowadays, negotiating this time, I assume it's even easier because companies, they know that we work by objectives, so that shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, so people will be working at the same time and coming these 3 days once per month. Regarding the methodology, that's something that also we are very proud of, the diversity of our methodology. So yes, we will have somehow a conceptual framework, so we can all speak the same language, but we also will have a team, there's a lot of team assignments, case studies, coaching, mentoring, we have guest speakers, we have simulations, rotating. Oh, I don't remember if you was there, but now we have a escape room, but I think that was after your group. You didn't do the escape room, right? No.
Yeah,
so
I'm not
now,
sure what this is.
No, you would remember. You would remember. So now even a new methodology, very unique from ESADE, even you have escape room. So in terms of methodology, it's super diverse. Isa, I don't know if you want to mention something regarding the diversity of the methodology.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember not one course was similar to the other. I mean, it was very interactive. There were a lot of case studies that we would read, and we would, I don't know, it was, we did simulations. We were outdoor. The campuses are really great in order, I mean, for activities and breakout sessions. And really, it's very dynamic. I mean, they tried to make it very dynamic as well, because as Judith was saying, you're there for 3 weeks for 12 hours inside of the classroom.
Oh, three days.
Yeah, 3 days. Every time you go there, sometimes it's 3.5. But yeah, I mean, you are like fully focused for 12 hours in a row. So they really try to make it very, very dynamic. And well, the technology that they have on campus is also very, very in line with the content. So we were able to do actual practical simulations when it comes to, I don't know, finance cases or strategy cases and things like that. So we could actually do and practice what we were learning at the same time. So it was very, very dynamic. Also, of course, the whole group dynamic as well. We were assigned groups. Every module we would change groups, and so that way we would always work with other people in the class. And it was, I mean, they would make the group, so to ensure that we would not stick with the same people, but we had that kind of very dynamic approach. So you get to work with all of your classmates and get to know all of them and get to fight with all of them, so that you're able to resolve conflicts as well. And so it's really great. Yeah.
Perfect. And in fact, in the middle of the day, you have a very nice lunch offered by ESADE, buffet style. So
oh yeah, that was the best.
Rush, you can, but if you have more time. So also there's like a nice break in the middle of the day, so don't get scared. What else? So this would be a sort of like the big picture of how the program is structured. So we have 4 terms divided. First term would be awareness, build, connect, decide. I will go a little bit more in detail. And then we have the G factor, general management skills, guiding, leadership development, growth mindset, global perspective. So in one picture, the idea is to see the purpose behind the different courses. So in terms of A, B, C, D, I will not go through all the courses. You have all the information in the website, and also the website, you can click the name of the course and it will give you to the syllabus so you can understand more. But the idea is like starting like from more generic to more specific and to more strategic, let's say. And term number 4 is where you will have all the electives. I have to tell you, Isa, that you don't hold the record anymore of being the person with more electives, because Isa, she did, I think it was 15 electives.
No, I did 16 actually, I
16,
think.
okay.
Yeah.
So now the new record is 25, but of course,
How
because
can that
now
be?
no, because it was also online. Some of them were online.
Okay.
So presential, I
So I
think,
still
yes, you
hold the
still have the
record.
record.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
presential, you still have the record. But in total, we have we have another student from the EMBA Weekly that just graduated very recently, and he has a new record of 25 electives, but some of them were online, so it was easier to attend all of them. We are offering electives both for the Executive MBA and the full-time MBA. So the idea is to have more synergies with the MBA full-time. So the number of electives, I mean, you will not finish them. And on top of that, we also have the electives abroad. Later I'll explain you some of the schools. So I would say like term A, B, C, honestly, it's more structured. You cannot decide. But term number 4, it's really, really very tailor-made. These are the electives abroad that I was mentioning. These are like Copenhagen Business School, Alto, Michigan University, Washington University, yeah. UCLA. There's every year there's some, even in Melbourne, so in Singapore, so all over the globe you will have some electives abroad offered. But in any case, probably electives abroad, you might be doing only 1, maximum 2. But the nice part is that these electives are sort of like mini exchanges. So even last part, when you are doing the electives in Barcelona, we are going to receive students from these 16 schools. So your network at the end of the program is even more diverse and more international, because we will be receiving students from these 16 schools on campus. So I think this is a nice end of the program, because honestly, your level of energy starts to go down in term 4, but because it's tailor-made, you sort of like recover some energy at the end, right? I don't remember, Isa, you went to UCLA, right? And
yeah,
I remember, what was the other one?
I did go to UCLA in Los Angeles. I did go to Aalto University in Helsinki. Okay. I did also Warwick Business School in London. Yeah. And I think that was it. Yeah, those 3 only.
Yeah, usually people do 1 or 2. The word only doesn't exist in your dictionary. Yeah. But in any case, maybe you want to like explain a little bit the chance.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, the experience was completely immersive. Like you go there and you're part of the class of an already existing class, and so you get to exchange and get to know other people in other universities, how they do things. So they're already doing their Executive MBA, and you go there and receive 4 courses or 3 courses, depending on how many courses you are signing up for. But yeah, I mean, the experience is like, it's completely transferring you to another world, and you get to go to classes in UCLA. It's not a course dedicated for you, but you are immersed in their lives. So that was actually pretty cool. I met a lot of people as well there, and did a lot of contacts as well, coming from I don't know, the US Navy in UCLA, people from Google, Instagram, Facebook, all these amazing companies, a lot of startups as well. And of course, you keep in contact with these people as well. And the interesting thing about the electives is that since you are part of their school, you get to be also part of their alumni network, because they add you. I even have an email address from UCLA. So you are really part of their alumni. And yeah, that was very interesting. The same thing in Aalto University. That was also very interesting experience. It was about innovation. Things are completely different in both universities. Finland is one of the countries with, let's say, bigger government and more everything is public. And so the experience having in the US versus a country like Finland was a complete different experience. And well, the same thing in Warwick Business School. They are more I don't know, the approaches are different, and you will get to enjoy all of them, because the way that they do work, the way that they evaluate the work that you do is completely different. And so you get to adapt, you get to learn new ways. And of course, the network, which is what Judith was saying as well, it's very important. And when we received also students from other universities, they would come from Melbourne, they would come from all these other places, from Israel, from UCLA, and they would love ESADE. And you connect with them as well. So it's not only you going out there, but they will come to you afterwards as well. And it's very enriching, and I still keep those relationships. And now at work, we keep talking, and there are stuff that we tend to do together, or introductions that we benefit each other. So it's very, very enriching of the whole experience of the Executive MBA, I gotta say.
Thanks for sharing. So yeah, this was the list of the schools that we have electives abroad. We were mentioning some. And then let's go to class profile. So this is specifically the class profile from the last promotion that we started this year. This year we had 37 participants. The average age was 36 years. We had 32% women, 11 years working experience in average. It's true that because of COVID, this profile was a little bit different from other years. Usually we would have more around 40 students. And our last promotion before COVID, we have 43% women. I think that women in general will feel a bit more uncomfortable in front of uncertainty. Now, number of women is increasing again. For example, in the last full-time promotion, we had 41% women, which is our record in the MBA full-time. In Executive MBA, our record is 43. Let's see if with this year we can increase this record. But in any case, our goal, of course, is one day to see parity in the class. And I'm sure that that will happen sooner than later. But in any case, yeah, the average age in the Executive MBA would be around 11 years. That's only the average. That means that we require minimum 5 years working experience. So 5 would be the minimum, although it's very strange to have someone with 5. Usually the youngest, they would have 7. And yeah, over that, it can be 15, 20, more than 20, it's like more unique. Also, we have to see case by case if it makes sense to do this program at this moment. But yeah, I would say something between 5 and 20 years working experience being the average 11. That would be the seniority of the program. There's other programs more senior. This program is for movers, shakers, people that they still want to grow and make changes. So I would say it's more maybe sort of like more people in their middle manager career, not so much at the end. I know all programs are a little bit more senior, but here we want to have a huge impact in their careers. This is a little bit from last year, but as I told you, it's true that this year, because of COVID, most people were coming from Europe, but in general, other years, and that will be the trend again, now that we are going back to the new normal, is having more diversity also in terms of continents. But yeah, 73% were international, non-Spanish. This number usually was even higher. 38% were expats. Usually this is also a little bit higher, meaning that people is from one country but living in another, like Isa, she was from Guatemala. At that moment she was living in London. So meaning that people is very open-minded because they are used to being in one country, living in another. Usually their partner is also from another country. So huge diversity. In terms of academic background, this is from last year. It's something that can change from year to year. But in general, of course, the backgrounds more common are engineering and business and management. In terms of functional area, usually operations, marketing, sales, consulting, finance are the most popular. And in terms of industries, it really changes a lot from year to year. Of course, technology and healthcare were increasing this year, but in general, this is only an example of last class profile. This can change a lot, but in order at least to have an example of how your class would look like. These are some of the companies that came, their participants came from these companies last year, but again, this is something that can really change from one year to another. But to have some example of some companies that we have their employees now in the program. And then admission process and financial aid. I will go very fast because honestly speaking, you will have my contact. I think that if you need more details on the admission process, I will always be happy to help. So let me go through this very fast so we have more time for the Q&A. So requirements: having your official university degree, minimum 4 or 5 years working experience, and of course a good level of business English level, even if it's the bilingual that is 75% Spanish. We still require a high level of English because we have all the study tours, we have the many of the cases and readings will be in English. And then the steps: disclosing the application online. You will have the admission interview with one of your associate directors. The interview, I always say, it's not an exam, it's just to understand very well your expectations, your motivations, your strengths. We have a test. Don't get scared. I know this is something very stressful, especially when we are working, and some of us, we also have kids, so combining everything is quite hectic. We accept GMAT, GRE, but we also have the ESADE own test, which is similar to GMAT, but you can bring calculator because in real life we have calculators. And so, yeah, I mean, the admission process would be sort of the same in all schools. So Isa, I don't know, any tip for the application process? I know that usually the interview and the test is where people feel a little bit more stressed. Do you want to share any tip?
Yeah, I mean, you need to prepare just like you would prepare for a GMAT, but I think that the admission test should be nothing to be scared about. I think, well, if you prepare yourself good for a GMAT, you will have no issues whatsoever with the ESADE test. And then, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward process. Everyone is always ready to help you and give you a hand. I remember the first time I went to ESADE, which was for the interview and for the test, everybody did their best to help me, and I immediately felt part of the ESADE community. It was amazing. Everyone, well, Judith and everyone was so friendly and so helpful. So you will have no issues if you make the decision of applying. You will be guided throughout the whole process. And the interview, well, I think the interview is one of the most important things, but not only for them, but also for you, because it's not about doing an executive MBA. There are a lot of schools that will offer you the same opportunity to do an executive MBA. It's about choosing the right school for you. So you want to know whether your values align with the values of the school. And I think it's a great opportunity for you to always ask all the questions that you have in mind and get to know the people there. And it's about, yeah, you're not going to do 10 executive MBAs in your life. So you better, well, choose the right place to do it. And that's part of the admissions test. I don't think it's nothing to be scared about. It's just a process that ensures that you are in the right place.
Okay, in fact, we ask the admission tests for two reasons. First, it's a natural filter. Someone says, because it doesn't happen very often, but sometimes someone closes the application, they submit all the essays, the interview, whatever. And then for the test, I need to postpone because finally I was very busy. I had to travel. I had to postpone again because I was sick. And you never find the time for doing the test. If you don't have time for doing the test, you don't have time for the executive MBA. So how lucky we realize that before doing the huge investment of time and money. And second, because, for example, I studied law, I really struggle with the numbers. Okay, no issue. But if we know that in advance, we have a finance optional online course that we can offer you in advance to get prepared if we see that with the quant you struggle a little bit. So please take it only as a little step of the whole process, and we are always happy to help. And then regarding financial aid, the tuition fee of the program is 65,300 euros. If you apply with more than 6 months in advance, you have an early bird discount. For now, the Executive MBA monthly format next edition is starting November. We will be a little bit late now for this year, but this is on roll basis, so just for your information. We also have a scholarship program, very important. First, you have to be admitted. Once admitted, you can apply for a scholarship. Main criteria always is diversity, gender, entrepreneurship, talent. So there's always some scholarship that would be suitable. If you want more information, we can arrange an interview and I can give you some more information, and we'll have some finance partners like College Finance, Bank Sabadell, that they have very convenient loans. And now, next step, I know that you was waiting for Marta's advice. So next slide is career impact. So Marta, the floor is yours now.
Thank you, Judith. Hello, everybody. I hope you all are well, in good health, and with a positive attitude. In this moment that we are trying to move to the new normal, and depending on where you are, more normal or less, but trying to move towards there. Well, as Judith and Anissa has been telling you, has been mentioning, an important thing of the Executive MBA in ESADE is that it's quite diverse. One thing it's also diverse is the objective of each of the different individuals that are pursuing this MBA. So when you think in what's the change I want to do, it's something that you have to consider and try to understand in terms of where you are and where you want to go, but not only in terms of if you want to move to another industry or change your company, or perhaps look for another job, but also in terms of growing within your company, or perhaps developing your own entrepreneurship project. So what you are going to find in ESADE, with your peers, in your cohort, is a group of people, I would say a team, with a lot of diversity in a lot of senses, but also in what they want to achieve after the Executive MBA. As I said, there are some that want to change the company. Some others want an internal promotion. Some others want to develop their own entrepreneurial project and became an entrepreneur. So in terms of change, 75 of the people of the cohort change, or they achieve their career change in less than 2 years. 50% of them during the Executive MBA, and the change it varies depending on the kind of change each individual want to achieve. Now, like I said, 46% change their company, internal promotion it's around 40%, and then 70% become an entrepreneur. Okay, so this is something that you have to consider. Some of you perhaps you're saying, okay, I'm okay in my company. I like the project my company have for me, and what I need is to have like a better understanding of the business, to understand or to have a wider view of the strategy or methodology, to gain self-awareness, and also like knowing how to lead myself and lead others. So it's something that the Executive MBA can give you as well. So depending on the kind of change you want to pursue, it's something you can consider. Also in terms of salary changes, what we have evaluated is a 30% of increase, also in 2 years, within Spain, and if it's international, the increase is higher, reaching the 52%. So the idea is that this career change is something that obviously we can accompany you in the development of the action plan for this change, adapting the kind of change and the kind of proposal we have for you in terms of advising and in terms of training and the different actions you can do. adapting it to the kind of change you want to do, to your profile, and to your situation in this specific moment. Because for you, for some of you, you can struggling like trying to balance your professional life with the EMBA, with your personal life. So putting also the idea of changing the career, perhaps it's too much, so you want to do it after the EMBA. So I mean, it's something you have to reflect and think about it, and try to see what's the best decision for you, and what's the what you want to do, and what's your decision. The idea as well is that this career change obviously is because you put effort on that and you put intention on that career change, but it doesn't happen because I mean, it's not because you I mean, you have like a lot of knowledge and you have developed a lot of academic content and so on. The idea is that because of the Executive MBA, you've been part of projects, of transversal processes, you've networked with a lot of people, you've grown a lot in self-awareness, in leadership yourself and others, in self-confidence, strategic vision. So at the end, the capacity of dialoguing in a highest level, it has changed a lot. So sometimes the impact you have and the impact of your speech is different. So you can also like try to drive your path through this higher impact you have. I don't know, Isabel, if you have a specific view on that, or...
Yeah, for me, it was actually, it was great. For me, it was a huge jump after the Executive MBA, definitely made a difference. As I mentioned, for me, well, I wanted to stay in the industry because I really like it. I like sports media and have experience in a very niche sector. But actually, the fact that I did the Executive MBA exposed me a little bit more to a network, and they got interested in my new acquired skills. And of course, it was also good for the new company where I joined. And I gotta say, well, I duplicated my salary and a little bit more. So I used to say that I almost triplicated my salary, but it's more like 2 and something. But I think that was a huge jump. And of course, I was promoted outside of my company. I got a much better role and with more responsibility. And yeah, it definitely makes you more attractive to new employers, and your CV does look better, and you are it helps the way that you think. You think in a more 360-degree view. It's not that you're all of a sudden after 20 months you're getting smarter, but you will get wiser as into where you're able to get your information from. So it's not that you're going to become a genius after 20 months, but you will know where to get the information from. You become a more critical thinker, and you start seeing things from a different perspective because you now are familiar with a lot of the aspects of the company, whether that is operations or strategy or finance or marketing or anything. So your view is definitely one of, from 2,000 meters, you're looking down instead of looking at stuff from a very close perspective. So it definitely changes your perspective, and you notice it because it has an impact in the way that you think, in the way that you conduct yourself in the business environment, in the way that your opinions evolve, and in the way that you become a more strategic, and let's say you also develop your soft skills. So that's a huge thing that also has an impact in your career, because there's only so much that you will go with your hard skills, which is like all the automatic things. But then you start thinking like a leader, you start thinking like a manager, like more strategic strategic, more long-term, and that completely changes your profile. That's what I will have to say.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There's as Judith has mentioned it, that there's a process, which is the guiding process, where the development of the leadership and so on, it's addressed. The idea is that you work with a coach, you do a lot of self-awareness and try to understand yourself a little bit more, and then do you feel that it has an impact, or it had an impact on you about the lead program? I mean,
I have to, yeah, I wanted to mention that as well. This is probably one of the only programs that has such a track, because from the moment that you join the program, from the second phase onwards, you start going on the lead track, and you are assigned a coach. And then, because again, an executive MBA, it's not only about getting knowledge into your brain, but it's about evolving. It's about developing yourself as a professional and also as a person, right? So you are assigned a coach, and that coach goes through you through the whole rest of the program. And then we also interact with the careers department. So you're really having this holistic approach where you are nurturing your intellect, but also looking at your self-awareness and evolving your critical thinking with the information that you get, but you add the critical thinking part with being aware of yourself, of how you interact with others, and definitely makes a huge difference. You got, I mean, a dedicated program, coaching program that will help you go through all these changes and all these ideas. Because another thing is that once you start doing this executive MBA, and you start being aware of all the information that is out there, and you start feeling more empowered, you want to go out to the world and just do everything, but you need to control that energy, right? You need to be able to use that energy in the right way. And that is what the coaches are there for, is to help you through this transformation process that will, at the end of the program, shape you as a new professional with new vision and with new perspectives of your own role. Everybody starts getting very anxious in the middle of the executive MBA, because they're like, oh my God, I want to be doing bigger things than what I am doing. But you need to be strategic also in that, because otherwise you will not do it in the right way. So I think it's very important, the lead track that goes alongside the whole content program, but also the support from careers. Because, well, also with careers, you get some sessions with some career coaches at some point, and try to understand how to rebuild your CV around your new interests, and how you can do in order to contact the right people in the right companies. And so it becomes kind of like a teamwork, where they can put you in contact with the right people, and you can actually tell them what you want to do, so that they help you shape it in a way that you can sell it. So I think that definitely both were very important part of the executive MBA. And I gotta say that after speaking with so many people doing our executive MBAs, just because of the opportunity that we have with the exchange, they don't have these tracks. Not in the other business schools, even if they're top business schools, they don't have it. And so it's one of the things that definitely ESADE has done right, and that it offers that holistic approach, where at the end of the program, you can tell that you are a different person.
Oh, amazing. Well, we don't have much time left, and there's already some questions. Oh, for some reason, the slide, okay, here's not moving. So if you don't mind, I have some questions here in the Q&A. Let me answer them, because some of them maybe are relevant for others. So let me go through the Q&A and let's see who should answer. So hello, I would like to ask how the admission application process begin. It's online, and what's the fee? And what documents will need. Yes, the application is online. It's on role basis, so it's always open. We have admission committee on a weekly basis, and documents, it's CV, passport copy, your ID photo, transcripts, the copy of your bachelor, and the approval company letter or 2 recommendation letters. But in any case, remember here you have my email, and if you want, this is like the most boring part of the presentation. So I'm more than happy to go through a face-to-face interview, and we can arrange a Zoom and I can explain you like more in detail the whole process. Someone else is asking if we accept the standardized English test or we have a study admission test. So both, we accept TOEFL, TOEIC, Cambridge, or if you don't have any of those, we also have a study test, or if you have been living in a English speaking country for 2 years, or your bachelor was full in English, then you would have a waiver. And then another one, what are the options for international students if they want to stay in Spain after graduation? Does the study support them in visa interviews and network? Maybe Marta, maybe you can answer this one.
Yes. Well, the idea is that the decision of sponsoring a visa is not something that ESADE can do. It's the companies that do. We try to have contacts with company where they are willing to sponsor a visa for I mean, that they don't mind where you come from, because they look for professionals and not for a specific limitation in terms of visa. What we do in this sense is that we have contacts with different lawyers, and then try to recommend and put in contact with the lawyers who can help you to understand what's the process and how do you have to do it to have the visa and to have all the possibilities of working in Spain or in Europe in general.
Thank you, Marta. Sabrina is asking, you mentioned that the Executive MBA is available across campuses. Is the program the same? Are the options for exchange? Yeah, maybe I didn't explain properly. So we have weekly, like Friday evening, Saturday morning, bilingual is in Barcelona campus, always Barcelona. And we have the monthly bilingual, Spanish, English in Madrid campus, always Madrid, okay? And then we have that fully English Executive MBA program on a monthly basis. That's the one that ESADE did. And that one, we altered, some modules are in Barcelona, some in Madrid, but always is the same program. The 3 programs in terms of academic content are exactly the same. And imagine that you start the weekly in Barcelona because you live in Barcelona, suddenly you get transferred to Madrid, and then you want to move to the one in Madrid. We need to catch up the same point where you left one or the other, but yes, you can transfer from one format to the other. And then someone else, Anonymous, is asking if we have exchange program with partner schools. Yes, that is something that I always forget to mention. So for the MBA full-time, one of the options is having a 3 months exchange with another MBA full-time program. So this is something that was not designed for the Executive MBA, was designed on purpose only for the full-time. But what happens is that this is only an option. So we always receive all the seats available at ESADE. We receive all of them, but the seats we have for sending our students abroad, there's always remaining places, because maybe our students, they prefer to stay in Barcelona doing more electives, or they prefer to do an internship. It's like very flexible, the MBA full-time. So there's always places remaining. So those of you that instead of the last term doing the electives, if you want to take this 3 months full-time exchange program, you can. Always MBA full-time will have priority to choose. So we will offer only those seats that were left in the MBA full-time program. But for example, US, there's always some school in the US. And in the past, I had executive MBAs going to Japan, Israel, Australia, so very exotic destinations. It's not very common because you need to take a 3-month gap, and maybe we are working, we have family, so it's not that common. But every year, minimum 1 or 2 EMBAs will do the exchange. And yeah, that's an option as well that I always forget to mention because it's quite exceptional. So this, and then Emily, in which part of the program you put emphasis? Yeah, I would say all executive MBAs, we are, especially if we have the triple accreditation, there's the curriculum that you need to cover. But I would say that our emphasis is what like Isa and Marta was mentioning, this focus on this leadership program. So we have a lead program, including 5 sessions with your coach. And if someone needs more, we're flexible with that. But in general, as a standard, you will have 5 sessions with your own coach through the whole program. And the idea of this lead program, at the beginning, you start, it's a very nice outdoor. We do in a hotel with not very good Wi-Fi, with no TV. So we are sort of a little bit isolated. And we do that at the beginning because we still don't know each other. Maybe sometimes I think it's easier to open yourself when you don't know each other and you have no like label, and you can be more open maybe rather than when you already know everybody. So this first, like second module, we have this outdoor session where we start reflecting who we are, where do we want to, where do we see ourselves? It's very personal touching, of course, always with this focus on your professional career, but at the end is very, very personal touching. And this will go through all the Executive MBA program, how to lead myself, how to lead my team, which impact I want to leave in society. So this leadership program, I would say, is one of the strengths. And also entrepreneurship, I would say, is one of the focus of ESADE. That doesn't mean that we expect all of our students to have their own company. We believe you can be very entrepreneurial in a big corporation. For example, Lisa is a clear example. She's always doing new things, and if not someone telling what you need to do, she has this entrepreneurial spirit. And for example, I remember one of the promotions that they were organizing a fund in order to invest in startups. So you can also, maybe you don't want to leave your corporate job because honestly, it's comfortable, right? But you have this entrepreneurial spirit, and maybe you want to be a business angel, an investor, or working pro bono for NGO. So there's many ways to be entrepreneur, even if you don't have your own company. So leadership and entrepreneurship, I would say, is the main focus of our Executive MBA. I don't know, Marta and Isa, maybe you think I should be adding something else to this question.
No, I think it's about right. I mean, again, in Executive MBAs, you address every single thing with the same emphasis. So if you're a marketing person, you will learn about finance and you might not like it, but it's necessary. If you're a finance person, you will learn about marketing and you might not like it, but it's necessary. So it's very cross-functional so that you're actually able afterwards to lead strategy. So yeah, I would say the focus of entrepreneurship, that's about right. Yeah, it's the good thing about ESADE is that it kind of allows you to choose what do you want to specialize on. It's not like some business schools that are mainly focusing on entrepreneurship, and it almost feels like you're being pushed into that direction. The same way if you go to other universities that are more focused on finance and consulting and stuff, and you almost feel that you have to go that way. This one is very, very flexible. So if you're interested in entrepreneurship, you have ESADE BAN. If you're interested in operations, you will have people and all the courses necessary for you to specialize on that. And so on. If you're interested in finance, the same thing. So it's very flexible. It allows you to decide whatever you want to do with your life, really. Okay. The support system is there. Here. Yeah.
Thank you, Isa. I see Martina here. I assume that means that we should be finishing, right?
Yes, that's right.
I don't have more questions in the Q&A. Hold on. Someone is in the chat. There was another one. No, just is one thing. Hi. I don't think I have more questions in the chat box.
Yes, I think that you have answered all of the questions. Yes.
Perfect. In any case, Martina will be sending me your contact. So if you don't mind, I will send you a quick email tomorrow to share my contact details just in case someone needs more information. And I will send you the link because we have an open day this Saturday on campus, but we are also offering the option to follow on streaming. So as soon as I receive your emails, I will be in touch with you. So I will send you the email template for attending this open day Saturday, just in case you need more information.
Okay. Thank you.
Just to say, feel free to connect on LinkedIn if you wish to speak further, and I'd be happy to spend some time answering more questions.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And my team,
so
thank you for organizing this. It was our pleasure. And yeah, so hope to repeat these sessions in the future. It was our pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for joining. See you soon.
It was a pleasure for me as well. I want to wish a good luck to all of you that has joining today. Good luck in your academic journey and hope to see you soon again. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.